Check this out.
Now, this is a story that likely made every parent's heart sink. A 1-year-old boy viciously attacked and killed by 3 dogs while in the care of a babysitter.
It all happened yesterday.
It's a story that likely made every parent's heart sink.
Notice how she starts off by trying to suggest that dog owners are loving, responsible people who wouldn't dare create the type of environment that would make this possible. Basically starting off defending the owners of these killers.
A 1-year-old boy viciously attacked and killed by 3 dogs while in the care of a babysitter.
It all happened yesterday. We've been on this story since then in Duncanville. Today, though, our Bo Evans has spent some time in the neighborhood. He's joining us live at 5 o'clock. Talk to us about, obviously, what happened yesterday, what we know on that, but also what are neighbors saying about everything that unfolded.
That's right. The medical examiner's office identified the 1-year-old who was killed in the mall attack. He was among 3 other children inside the house when the attack occurred.
This is certainly a tragedy.
Sadness and questions still linger on Limeleaf Lane in Duncanville. Police say 1-year-old Shiraz Asverdam was inside this house when 3 dogs belonging to the homeowner and the child's babysitter made their way indoors and attacked the baby. 3 other kids were also inside. We're told they are the homeowner's children.
I don't know why they keep saying that the dogs made their way inside the home. The homeowner, who was also the babysitter, owned the dogs. I'm sure they could freely go in and out of the home as they please. But keep in mind, she has 3 youngsters herself. The 4th was a visitor, and she does this for a living, and they attacked the visitor. And I think that should reinforce the reckless endangerment law, the child endangerment law that they are in violation of. But we know that won't happen.
Our fire personnel and police personnel worked very hard to try to save this child.
Police are now working hard to figure out what provoked the dogs.
Oh,
it's terrible
did you hear that?
What happened to the
you hear
child,
that?
and
You hear
I feel
that?
so
You hear
terrible.
that? Trying to figure out what provoked the dog. Now, we all know that's what happened during these investigations. But how crazy is that? They're letting you know we're about to find out what that 1-year-old did to provoke this dog.
It's terrible what happened.
And then they go right to this lady. Who you think she is?
It's terrible what happened to the child, and I feel so terrible for the family and the whole situation. But I have to look at it from another point of view, too, because I have a lot of friends at the shelter, and I'm animal control, and this has just got to be devastating for all of them.
She's animal control and works at the shelter, volunteered and got friends at the shelter. So what is she saying? What are you saying? What do you mean you got to consider? Consider what? She's saying consider the possibility that the 1-year-old did something to provoke him. That is exactly what she's talking about. And we all know it. Can't make this up.
It's terrible what happened to the child, and I feel so terrible for the family and the whole situation. But I have to look at it from another point of view, too, because I have a lot of friends at the shelter.
What does that have to do with this case? What does you having friends at the shelter and you being animal control, what does that have to do with this case? She's trying to tell you in her own way, I'm a dog lover. And I'm going to consider the possibility that the 1-year-old provoked it. In fact, that's most likely. 99% positive. That's what she is going to side with. That the 1-year-old did something. Nobody saw what the 1-year-old did except for the dogs. That the 1-year-old did something to provoke the dogs into attacking. Can't make this up. Isn't that despicable? Despicable. It's crazy.
It's terrible what happened to the child, and I feel so terrible for the family and the whole situation. But I have to look at it from another point of view, too, because I have a lot of friends at the shelter, and
What does that got to do with anything? It didn't even make sense, that statement here. Right? Otherwise, what is she talking about? You got to look at it from another point of view. I got friends at the shelter. And she's just trying to say, oh, I'm a nutter. And I'm going to side with the dogs.
Animal control, and this has just got to be devastating for all of them.
Disgusting.
No, that's just hard to accept. You see, I mean, they never even had a chance at life.
The dogs are being quarantined in Cedar Hill.
Ain't it crazy? They don't care. They're willing to create the environments to make this happen, for things like this to happen. And there's a constant, basically daily reporting of it happening. It's no mystery. They're all aware that it's possible.
The dogs are being quarantined in Cedar Hill pending the owner's surrender. Still, questions remain.
Dogs could still live.
If the dogs were that aggressive, I can't really understand why they had access to the house at all.
Listen to this nuttery. What are you talking about, lady? What's she talking about? Maybe they were never aggressive. Maybe they haven't never shown aggression before. That happens all the time. What is she talking about?
I can't really understand why they had access to the house at all.
Duncanville PD says they're working with Dallas County District Attorney to determine if criminal charges will be filed. In Duncan,
how could they not? What good are child endangerment laws? I went over this several times. They're designed to punish behavior that might lead to a child becoming harmed. That's really all you need to read. Might lead. But they do not require that children actually suffer an injury or physical harm. It's described as, when you place a child in a situation that might endanger their life. Place a child in a situation that might endanger their life. That's not this. I don't get it. Sound like a explicit or precise description of what we just saw. Look at this. It may still be charged in cases where the actions of the caregiver did eventually result in the child being physically injured or harmed. Isn't that what we just saw? That's this case. You do not have to show that a parent or caregiver intentionally meant to expose the child to a dangerous situation. The courts apply a reasonable person standard in child endangerment cases. That means even if the accused didn't realize the situation was dangerous, reasonable people in that situation would have understood their actions endangered the child's well-being. That's what we just saw. That's this case. And we all know they're not going to apply it. This is a child sacrificial cult. Look at this gun. If this is in reach or in an area in the home where a child can reach, you can get charged with child endangerment, even if it's not fired. I mean, why? It's not firing right now, so why should we consider it dangerous? Just like with a dog. Nutters say, hey, it's never shown aggression, so there's no reason to suspect that it will in the future. They put this in the laws. That's why they don't consider them dangerous until after they've attacked. Well, this thing is not firing. It's safe right now, but yet they'll lock you up. They'll charge you with child endangerment, as if the only thing they're concerned with is the possibility, even if it's just remotely possible, you're guilty. Dogs fit this description even more, a lot more, especially seeing that they have a brain of their own. These are predators with mutated brains, and they will always view youngsters as targets, as prey, and they maul them just for the sheer pleasure of exercising dominance. They have a very abnormal lust for killing.